morning. Hey guys. Hi. Hey everybody.
I commented and told you good morning from my phone while I was sitting here.
How's it going?
We have 13 so far, so welcome. Give us a thumbs up. Oh, we have ads. Look. Hopefully y'all don't have ads.
There we go. We're muted now.
Hey. Oh my gosh! The most genuine
so
and real resellers on YouTube. Hold on, I gotta wait for it to come on this side.
Yeah, so I think the keyword
your advice and authenticity is so inspiring for a female. Oh, I needed that today. It's been a really cruddy week, so y'all are the best. Thank you, Freedom Finders. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for the super chat and for your kind words.
That's one thing we always like to try to do is be like 100% realistic with you guys. I think sometimes we can come off a little just nonchalant, but that's kind of what we go for in a way, because we have good days, we have bad days. We could just come in every day and tell you that it's like, I don't know, rainbows and fairy tales, but it's not always rainbows and fairy tales, and I don't want to set you guys up with unrealistic expectations. So I think the realism hopefully helps you realize that even people as great as Cayley do still have really cruddy days. So
yep. And it's not just, work life. Sometimes we have things going on in our personal life that come into work, unfortunately, as much as we try not to, and it affects your day and how you feel about your day and your productivity sometimes. So I feel like we've all just had kind of a bleh week and using today to get back on track and reset, and hopefully next week will be better. But I appreciate that. That's probably, I don't know for you, but probably for me, one of the biggest compliments is being authentic. So
yes. Yep.
Thank you guys so much. Hi everybody. Good morning.
And I always get on here and realize how like poofy my hair looks.
Volume.
Yeah.
Mine's just frizzy. All right. Well, as we mentioned, this past week was rough. We've been spinning our wheels, doing a lot of catch up. It's not been the normal week. I feel like we say that every week though. You just got to plan for something to happen all the time.
Plan for dumpster fires.
But it's been good. I feel like our biggest issue was we haven't been able to source enough items. I know we've talked about it. We actually, for the past couple days, have had really great sourcing days. We went to the bins. We dug through a lot of crap. One day we got 92 items. So we got 92 items. I posted about that on Instagram. I didn't say the number, but if you're interested in what that looks like, we filled the trunk. And then the next day, we didn't have as great of a day at the bins. And kind of our process is we go into the bins, we start digging. We decided to go ahead and leave and head up some other thrift stores because we weren't having a great day at the bins. And that was because we realized we'd gone through half of the bins
and didn't find
hardly anything. We came out with 20-something items, and we had then caught up to where the new bins were being put out, and so we were just going into old bins. So we were like, you know what? We're just gonna go ahead and hit some other things. Michaela's shipping in the background, so if you hear that, sorry. You guys could say hi to her. She's catching up on some shipping and some photographs for us. Other than that, we decided to do a couple things differently this week. We had a little bit of a revelation, so to speak, and we decided that we're going to start a new process with our listing. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so one of the things I love about List Perfectly is that you can always make suggestions to them on things that would make your business easier. We had done that twice with them, asking for a bulk option to input drafts, and they just said it wasn't something that they could do at this time. With us doing 140 drafts that turn into listings each week, it was becoming a little bit monotonous for us to just go click repetitively. We were wasting a lot of time like that. So we decided to switch back to eBay for the drafting process. So we're still using LP, just in a little bit of a different manner. But we were able to essentially use the outline that we got from LP to create a template on eBay. We'll now be doing eBay drafts using that List Perfectly template. and then doing our listings in eBay with all of the information, and then cross-posting those to LP, and then cross-posting from LP to Poshmark or Mercari or wherever else we want to send it. Mostly just Poshmark, but we do put things occasionally on Mercari or Depop or things like that. So the other great thing we thought about, I don't know if you guys run into the same issue we have, I'm sure you probably do, but when they do like the seller updates, sometimes it kicks inventory out of the system, and then we have no clue that it's there till we do an entire store inventory, and magically all these things pop up. I did one last summer in August, and just between August and now, I have a tote of things at my desk that got kicked out that are no longer on eBay. And luckily, sometimes those things were on Poshmark as well, and I can just cross-post them back and don't have to redo all the photos. But by also having it in LP with a SKU, we're going to be able to find it. It's not like we're going to sell something on Poshmark and then it's not on eBay and now we don't know where to find it. So
it's almost going to act as our bridge, essentially.
We
just
are
a safeguard.
Switching it up. We have people from Vegas, California, Cleveland, hometown, right? You got to have Ohio. Definitely have to have Ohio there. Home state, I guess. Not hometown, but home state. Texas, Pennsylvania. Oh, another Akron, another Ohio. Okay. Western Pennsylvania.
Good morning, everybody.
Outline. I'm still logging through LP, so it's slow for me. I hope we're still learning LPA. So what we did on LP for Joe, we used like a template form. So you can create templates on LP. We did that ourselves. And we kind of did like a bullet point. If you look at any of our listings, you'll see kind of bullet pointed things. So we have like style profiles, we have washing instructions, where it came from, measurements, things like that.
List Perfectly has, if you're on List Perfectly and you're trying to figure it out, go to that drop down and go to their help, because they have a ton of tutorials on there that are really easy and spelled out.
Yeah.
Which is good because we don't always have the time to dive deep into that with everybody on all those processes, but definitely check that out. They also have a YouTube channel. It's just List Perfectly, and they go through things there. But I do think it really depends on which plan you have. We have the pro plan, which helps build a pro description for us. So
I would recommend the templates. It like was a game changer for us. And it made it look really clean. So it used to have, I guess, a lot more, I don't know, it looked a lot more lopsided. And then once we added bullet points, it made it a little bit easier to read and really process through, and for the customers, I think, to find what they were looking for easier. And now we were able to just kind of copy and paste that into a template on eBay, and now we're able to use essentially all the perks we liked from List Perfectly on LP or on eBay. And then when we share it to eBay or from eBay to List Perfectly, it's still plugging in all of those characters that it was before. So
what's up, Kayla?
Kayla's got questions for us. Sorry, guys.
Those stocks aren't on Poshmark.
They're not.
Pull them and put them on my desk.
Sorry.
They sold on Depop.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
package.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and just set it on my desk, please.
See, we make mistakes. Real life, every day.
So I speaking of some things that we cross-post on Depop still, we had some vintage, like Y2K looking Doc Marten men's leather sandals, and they just sold for, I think, $75 on Depop, and somebody just legit bought them outright, which is nice. So sometimes I still put some vintage and Y2K things over there. I'm not as vigilant about it as I used to be, because as we mentioned, we're trying really hard we're trying to steer our focus towards our two main platforms, and then eventually we're going to continue adding Mercari on. But right now, since we're in this new process, we're just going to nail this down. It's going to be a really easy transition, though, because it's almost the same thing. If you're new here, before we were listing an LP, and then we were cross-posting to eBay, and then we were cross-posting to Poshmark from LP. Now we're going to list on eBay, cross-post to LP, cross-post to Poshmark. And long story short, the main reason we're doing that is because we have a virtual assistant who was currently filling out the LP drafts, And we were physically cross-posting to eBay and having to fill out, the rest of the drop-downs and information. And it was taking us a lot of time because we're scheduling 140 items every week. Now we're going to have her start listing on eBay again, so she can fill out pretty much all the details for us. And it's just going to make our life so much easier.
Yep.
And we're paying her to complete a draft. So for us, it's more beneficial for her to complete the draft on eBay, get that done. And then, as Nikki mentioned, we're also able to use a lot of the bulk features on eBay that List Perfectly doesn't have.
Yeah, plus it'll save us lots of time. So like we said, we talked about our virtual assistant doing the majority of the listing. Right now, we're doing all of that, and she was originally before, like, way back when we switched over to List Perfectly. So she's a professional at it. She knows how to do it as well. We've already gone through it with her, coached her on it, whatever. And then we started having her do the List Perfectly one. So by switching her back to eBay, she'll do the majority. We'll log on, we'll view everything, verify it's correct, add pricing, and just set it live, which will save us lots of time on doing that. And it'll allow us to get out of the office sooner to go source more. So that's the goal.
One thing I wanted to say about new processes, since we're talking about it, is I just felt like I had to mention this because one of the things we're trying not to do is change our process, unless we know it's going to save us a ton of time and make things more efficient, which in this case it definitely is for pretty much everyone involved, including Cayley, who does the photos and stuff. It's just going to make things a lot easier for all of us. And it's really a super easy transition because it's basically the same process, just flipped. But what I wanted to say about new processes is if you're thinking about doing a new process, test it out and make a decision pretty quickly. Don't stew on it for weeks and weeks. Literally yesterday, I brought up in the car ride on the way to sourcing, hey, I was thinking maybe we could do this, but here's the problems I thought with it, so I decided not to. And then Nikki kind of said, well, what about this? And we talked back and forth, and we decided, you know what, that might actually work. Let's test it. Let's see if it works. And literally the same day, I spent some time and I went through the process to see how it would look and if it would work, and I timed myself to see if it would save time.
Yep.
And then we decided, okay, the next day
pull the trigger.
We're gonna pull the trigger and implement this. So
we're actually starting it today. We actually started it this morning. So I would say 24 to 48 hour turnaround is always gold.
Yeah, if you can. I understand that sometimes, like, if you switch your returns around, for instance, what you accept with returns, it might take 30 days to figure out if that's going to work for you or not. But if you can help it, if you're going to try a new process, get it tested pretty quickly, figure it out pretty quickly. That way you can decide yes or no and not, waste a whole lot of time on it.
Jill, you can have multiple templates. So we typically just we have them labeled as clothing and shoes. But essentially it's things that need measurements and things that don't. If you have other like hard goods or things in your store, you can have as many templates as you want on List Perfectly. And I think the same applies to eBay. I know we had like 5 or 6 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can have as many as you want on eBay as well. And I would recommend doing that. If you know you have things that are varied, that you do all the time, that you have templates as generic as what you can, kind of covering the spectrum, but if you need to have things that are more specific, that you do have those. And then talking about Depop being good for vintage, you are correct, it is. And then
I see.
Talking about star shorts, I think I know which ones you're talking about. I think you're talking about the American Eagle, like red, white, and blue Americana shorts, and I do think we sold those.
Do you have your eBay app on your phone? Check real quick.
I'm pretty sure we did.
I know that there were people who commented on that video and wanted to purchase them, and I believe I replied to those comments and pasted the link to them, but I'm unsure whether someone actually went and purchased them or not. We're checking right now. I feel like they did.
I'm pretty sure they were gone. Let me just check sold, because I'm pretty sure they're sold like within a couple days.
Maybe able to search flag.
I wasn't sure what we listed it as. Maybe not. Maybe you'll be in luck. We show. Oh, that is not how you spell flag.
Good morning, everybody. Someone said I'm terrible. Oh, Joe said I'm terrible with styles. I wouldn't know a Y2K style if it fit me. And I'm old, so my taste doesn't lead me to it. You know what? We're not, I guess I should only speak for myself, but none of us, I'll speak for myself. I don't have the best style education just naturally. Like, I'm not necessarily a fashionable person. If left to my ways, I'll just wear jeans and a t-shirt every day. I wear stuff for YouTube usually, but I'm trying to be better about it. But everything that I know about style and keywords and all that, I've literally just Googled and learned that way.
So before I started with Cayley, like, I didn't know anything, like, clothing wise. Like, I wore the same clothes. Like, I just wear them until they wear out. And, like, I still shop that way. Like, I know what I like. I buy what I like. I don't buy things because it's a specific brand. I see something and it's cute and I pick it up. But that's pretty much my extent at shopping. So when it comes to style, like, it was a huge adjustment for me. If you're starting reselling and you have no clue what you're doing, the best advice I could give you is to go in, pick a section, comp every single item you see. It's going to take you so long, but that's what I had to do to get to the point where I'm like, okay, wait, you know, these Levi's are good, these ones aren't. Athleta, these types of Athleta are great, these types aren't. Learning to check style names is huge too. So most items have a style number on there. You can check them, Google image them, and actually find a specific style name. Do it. Do as much research and get specifically good at one category and then expand as you go. The other thing that helped me is, like, kind of having an eidetic memory. I can sell something like one time and, like, see a tag one time and remember that it's good to comp again. But, like, even us going to the bins and stuff, sometimes we pick things up and we're like, I don't know, it looks kind of weird, we'll try it. I was telling her about a piece of cloth. I actually took my mom shopping with me last week, and she picked it up, and I was like, just toss it. And she was like, I don't know, it feels good. So we picked it up, comped it anyways, and it has a really great, like, 200% sell-through rate for $45. And I was like, okay, I just got schooled by my mom, who knows nothing about reselling. So it's anybody's game. Spend your time, do the research, look the item up, because you'll be surprised at the things you find are good. So that's my advice.
I think that's what really sets, I mean, not to toot our own horn, but toot. This is what really, I think, sets us apart when it comes to how much we sell, is we are constantly doing comps. We probably spend sometimes more time comping than we do actually looking at items sometimes, because we're really drilling in. Flipping it good. Hi, they said it was their first time here.
So yay.
Yeah. Hi.
And then as far as, like, Y2K stuff, that's kind of like our generation. So, like, honestly,
That's
I just
true.
look for stuff that I would have worn when I was like 12, and then I'm like, oh wait, that looks like something I would have worn as a kid, and I pick it up.
So did we sell those shorts?
We did not. So I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I have it up. If you are looking for these, they are still active. I don't remember who you were. Oh, Lisa. We do have these ones, if those are the ones you're talking about. And if so, we do still have them. I think we also had another pair that had red on them, though. So I'm not sure if those are the ones. These ones are American Eagle. They're flag, and they're size 6. So if you want those ones, they are still active right now. And those were listed on the 12th. So that's probably the ones you're talking about. How many items How many items a day to list for a smaller closet? I don't know that there's necessarily an amount you would need to list. I would just say having items each day that you're listing, even if it's 2 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day, whatever works for you. If you know, say for instance, you are going to list for 7 days a week and you get 14 items for that week, spreading that between all 7 days and just doing 2 a day. I don't think there's a golden number per se of how many to list, but making sure you're doing something every day would be my recommendation.
Megan, you said you have 250 items so far. That's pretty good. I would just ask, what is your financial goal? Because if you're if you're part-time and you just want a couple $100 a week, that's different than somebody who needs to do a full-time income. And let's say you need to make $1,000 a week. that would be a different conversation. So I would just ask yourself that, divide by your average sale price, and kind of figure out how many you need to list. And as Nikki said, definitely, I mean, people are so back and forth with this, but I can only tell you from my own experience what is working for us, that listing every day is a big help. So if you can spread it out, like Nikki said.
We do not put eBay videos in currently. We did see that that's an option. We haven't really dived into it much yet. Maybe eventually, if it was like something that I thought of it like a video would benefit well, like selling something, and then maybe we would consider it. But as of right now, we do not.
I wish we could do no pictures and just take a video. I meant to test that out, but I'm not seeing that option on the app is the only thing. I'm only seeing that pop up for like beta testing on desktop. But what if you could only take a video, like as you're, like you would while you're photographing, turn the item around, look at the tag, and like that
Cayley
would be
didn't
it.
seem happy about it from the background. That's why I was like, oh,
Be awesome.
your face when I said that. Oh, she must
Like
have
she
been
has
listening.
headphones
She
in.
was just
No, I don't have headphones in.
she was just making weird faces, I guess, at me. But
I literally just turned around and looked
talking
at you.
about haggling on prices, people are always going to haggle on prices, specifically on like places like Poshmark. I don't know about Depop specifically. I don't know. I'm assuming they have an offer program as well, because Cayley mentioned about them buying stuff outright. But the thing to think of, like when we share from eBay to Poshmark, we increase the price a little bit on Poshmark, knowing that we're going to have to accept offers. You could do the same on Depop.
Depop actually does not currently have an offer function. They just message you, and then you have to edit the listing, as far as I know, unless they've changed it. I'm not on there very much. It's just stuff that we've already listed that sells sometimes over time, or if we get an item and I think about it, I cross post. But people are going to haggle you everywhere. It's just the cost of doing business. As we say, always counter or leave it sit there. That way you're creating activity in your account, and even though it might be something negative that irritates you, at least you can get a benefit from it by getting activity going by countering.
Heidi says, good morning. I just wanted to say how much I appreciate your channel and the information you share. You don't know how happy that makes us, because we've like actually been meeting people. So a hashtag shout out to Steve if you get on Steve. We met Steve at the bins this week, him and his wife Terry. And it throws us off still to see people in person, and like people say hi to us and they know our names, and we don't necessarily know who you are because we just see usernames or whatever from the channel. But it is nice when you guys say hi.
There've been a lot of people coming up to us lately, and I'm like, if you do run into me in person, we absolutely do not mind if you say hi. We want you to, but just know that I'm really awkward, so it shocks me when someone says my name, and even though I know I'm on YouTube, it takes me a few seconds to register. So
Steve this week, he was like, hi Nikki, hi Cayley, and I was like, we both looked at him like, how do you know who we are? But it took us with a minute. We looked at each other, and then we kind of laughed. We were like, oh hi, and it just takes us a minute, so please just understand
still
that.
getting used to it.
But we do like hearing stuff, and Steve gave us some good feedback, and it's nice to see kind of the impact that Cayley's made on a lot of people, and that you guys enjoy watching the channel. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your kind words.
So Joe, style RN numbers don't ever bring you to the actual item when you Google. In fact, sometimes a shirt will show me pants or skirts, whatever I'm doing wrong. So it depends on the item. One thing I do is like Nike, Madewell, J. Crews, Athleta is huge for us. Lululemon if they have them. Make sure that you're like, I always would type in like Athleta and then just the number and hit Google image, and normally my phone thinks I'm talking to it, and normally it gives you an image that you can verify is indeed correct. So I always like search the style name and then look at the item. So if you're searching like, I don't know, a J. Crew leopard sweater, and you're searching the style number on it and you're getting pants, obviously you know that's not correct and you need to do some more research on it. But
it's definitely, so I guess I wanted to clarify, because they said the style RN numbers. I just want to make sure everybody understands that an RN number is different than a style number. The RN number is the number that basically identifies a brand. So if you have an item that doesn't have a brand tag, you can search the RN number on Google to possibly find the brand. And then we also have on certain items style numbers that then, if you do know the brand, you can use the style number to look up. I will say, you know, we're not looking up every single style on every single item, but there are brands that we know are easier to look up. So it just like triggers in our mind to do it. Like Free People's pretty easy. She mentioned, you know, J. Crew, Athleta. There's a couple things that we just kind of have a list of that we know to look up the style number. But for anybody listening, we do have a video on it, so I'd look that up. But you can look up the brand, space, your style number on the tag on Google. The biggest issue that I see where people cannot figure it out is because they search it on Google and they're looking at the web results. You want to go to the Google Images tab more than likely, and then you'll probably see it. So we usually just start by searching on Google Images. But
I was trying to find an example, but I struck out on a quick look of not like digging through lots of bags. So
Yeah.
sorry that I don't have one right off.
Yeah.
I thought I'd come across one, but I didn't. But
if you're not already going to the Images tab, that's probably where you're steering wrong. Search it, go to the Google Images tab, and then see if you can find that style.
so I'm gonna comment on Freedom Finders here. Did you get any scrutiny by family friends once you went full time? I went full time after leaving a corporate job in November and get comments about getting a real job. We'll let Cayley start on this as far as like starting the business, but I also want to tell you about my transition too. So
So I feel like I need to make a video about how I like got into reselling and how I went full time.
give her a thumbs up. We'll convince her to do it.
Speaking of thumbs up, there's 60 people here and only 12 likes. Please take a second and give us a thumbs up. It again only takes a couple seconds. It's free and it really helps the channel. So I was already part-time doing reselling, and my family already knew that while I had my corporate job. So for me, it was a pretty easy transition. Did I get a lot of like hesitation? Like, are you sure it's the right thing? I think my family was concerned financially if I was going to be able to make it. But what I would say is like money talks. So get yourself to a point where you're like, okay, well, I'm making X amount of dollars. I mean, that's really all I can say. That's the one thing that speaks. And it's like, I'm making X amount of dollars, or I was able to pay off this, or I was able to get a new car. And over time, they're going to see, I mean, honestly, you don't have anything to prove to anybody, but yeah, I did experience some hesitation, but overall, I think my family and friends were pretty supportive of that. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. People over time, again, once they see that you're financially okay, I think that's the biggest portion of why people worry. They'll get there. You want to tell yours? Yours is a little bit different than mine.
Yeah, so long story short, I'd been working the same job since I was like 17, I think. I had 13 years with the company and had moved through multiple roles. Long story short, I was in human resources and for a corporate company and made pretty good money.
Comment down below. Does that make sense? Can you tell that Nikki was in human resources? I
Probably not, because I'm like the vulgar one of the group, but I think like I can turn it on and off really well. That's one thing I'll say. Like, I like to be fun and free and have a good time, but I can also be super structured. That's why, like, Kayla and I literally talked about this the other day. She was like, sometimes I say things and you look at me and don't respond. And I'm like, that's my HR section coming in and being like, there's nothing that's appropriate for you to respond in this moment. So I have to think again about what I'm doing. But did human resources, hiring, and things like that for, I don't know, 5-7 years, something like that. Anyways, Cayley reached out to me and was like, hey, I have a business opportunity. Do you think that you want to kind of move on, like do something else? And I was like, I don't know, I'll talk to you about it. Like, we'll come down, it's like, we'll sit down, have a nonchalant meeting about it, go on and kind of go from there. I trust Cayley with my life. I trust her with my kids. And that's like a huge thing for me, is that I surround myself with people that I feel like will build me into the person that I need to be, or that I feel like I can trust and I can put my life in their hands, essentially. So I did that, went to that meeting with her knowing that, sorry, I'm like way behind.
You're good. Keep going.
Knowing that we were friends, I surround myself, or try to, with good people. But that I could have faith in her. Now, I called my mom first thing and I was like, hey, I need to tell you this is what I'm debating between, because my mom is my rational side. I'm like a go by, fly by the seat of my pants, like whatever happens, happens, it'll work out. She is not. She's like my voice of reason. And she was like, absolutely not. You cannot do this. This is probably not a good decision. You need to really think about it. Like financially, you're losing benefits. What does this look like? And I don't know. I like told Cayley I wanted a week to think about it, but I think I knew the entire time what I was going to do. I just gave myself a week to talk myself out of it. My family was very, I think, scared for a while, but my mom loves it now. And like, I'm pretty sure if she gets the opportunity to come work with us too, she probably will. So it's been a good experience. And I would say don't hold yourself back based on what other people think, because it does really have no effect on you breaking it or making it. So,
and at the time, I mean, things were not going well. Not that you weren't performing well at your job, but some things were going on where you were like, I don't know if I like it here anymore. And I would just say, I forget who asked that question, but I would just say, are you happier?
Yeah.
Are you happier leaving your job? Because I know that I felt a huge weight come off my shoulders. Obviously, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I make it. But I felt a huge weight come off my shoulders when I started working for myself and did not have to rely on other people. So are you happy? And that's really matters.
Yeah, and you have to think about your lifestyle too. So I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about it lots of times. I have 2 kids, a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old. And being part of their life is huge. When you're in a corporate world, there is no taking time off. There is no sports. There is no this. There is no that. You have corporate company coming in. You drop everything to be there. I was waking up some days at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. to go to work, to rush, to get things ready for company to come. And I was missing bedtimes. I was missing, waking them up, putting them on the school bus. I'm home every day now. I don't work weekends anymore. Next week, Wednesday, I get to go enroll my son in preschool, and I would have had to pull teeth to get there. So you have to think about the perks too, weigh all the options. But if it means that it makes you happier, you get to spend more time with family or do something that makes you feel better about yourself, then absolutely do it.
And they'll come around. Your family will come around.
I need to scroll back up.
And it is a real job. Okay. It's a real job.
It is a real job. We work freaking hard. And we reward ourselves with marks and pedicures. So it's fine, right?
Mexican food.
Mexican food. What do y'all consider a good sell-through rate on eBay when looking at comps? Do you have a sell-through rate? I was like, what is an STR that it hit me that you try to stick to? Always 100%. Always 100% or plus. Within reason. So I'm not gonna lie and say I never sway a little bit, because sometimes I'll pick something up and a brand has 100% sell-through rate, but there's not a lot of information on this one specific thing. But maybe it's really trendy, maybe it's plus size, maybe it's you've got to look at the factors as well, but rule of thumb is always 100% plus.
I just think we need to clarify, because I've watched a lot. Well, I don't really anymore, but I used to binge watch a lot of reseller content because I was learning, and everyone seems to calculate sell-through rate differently. So I just want to clarify how we calculate sell-through rate so that you understand what we're saying when we say 100% sell-through rate or higher. We check all of our comps on eBay with a few exceptions, and we are checking to see, do the sold number of results match or exceed the available number of results. Now, when I say that, we drill pretty deep into stuff. If we get a J. Crew sweater, we're not just typing in J. Crew women's sweater. We're typing in J. Crew women's
merino
red
wool.
merino wool V-neck size large. We even add the size sometimes. Sweater. Then we're filtering to sold, and we're trying to see, do the sold number available results match or exceed the available number of results.
Don't forget new and pre-owned.
Pre-owned.
That's the first thing. If it's new or pre-owned, so you search the whole description, new or pre-owned, what is it? See how many are available.
good.
then go to sold and see what that is in comparison.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm glad you said that. Drill down as far as you can. Do the sold number of results match or exceed the number that were available?
Yes.
We consider that 100% sell-through rate. Now, the caveat to that is the eBay sold results only show 90 days. So the way we look at that is 100% sell-through rate within 90 days.
Which is why we always say on lives, we want to get rid of it within 90 days. And if we haven't gotten rid of it within 90 days, that's when we start that discount process we've talked about in the last videos. If you don't know what that is, feel free to go back and watch the other videos about that discount process.
It's also great. I mean, we're heavily checking sell-through rate. As I said, we're always doing comps. It's great to check sell-through rate because if you check it and you see that there's not a good sell-through rate, you can go ahead and pass. You don't even have to scroll through results to see, okay, how much are these things selling for, because you know that they don't have a good sell-through rate. So saves a lot of time in that aspect.
Megan says she's a stay-at-home mom and wants to make it her full-time, part-time job. So
got
$1,000 a
this.
week as an ultimate goal. That's a good goal. Goals are really big. So, and I always tell you, set goals that are realistic, because there's nothing like striving for a goal you never meet. So like my goal for this week is like last week sucked, so I'm going to do better this week. I'm going to we're going to source more. We're going to get motivated. If you watch our day in the lives, like I set little goals where I'll be like, okay, my goal today is 40 or my goal today is 50. Set a goal every day so that you feel like you're achieving things and you feel like you're making movements. Not saying that your goal of $1,000 ultimate isn't a good goal, because it is. That's like a top goal, but also set little goals on the way so you can kind of check those boxes off and feel achieved.
Keep in mind your gross and net. You didn't specify, so just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just financially, just keep that in mind. You know, you got your fees, you got your cost of goods, you've got your taxes that you're gonna have to take out. So just, if your goal per week is to have a net of 1,000, then you need to figure out what that's gonna take gross wise and what it's gonna take to get there. But you can totally do it. Consistency is key.
Thanks, Jennifer, for adding some details too about style numbers and RNs and things like that. I appreciate that. And again, this Patchwork Vintage Co. makes a good point. When your family's calling you and asking you what you're doing, you absolutely, I believe, if you're going to be a full-time reseller, have to have work hours. Set a schedule, stick to it. Don't let people sway you out of that, because it makes it easier to be like, oh, I'll just do it later. I'll just do it in the evening. One of the biggest things about any business is having a set time every week where you plan on working on it and sticking to that schedule.
I'd say that's the biggest thing that I still struggle with in terms of family and friends is a lot of people go, well, you run your own business, you should be able to do X, Y, and Z, which you should, but you still got to be responsible about it.
Fun fact, that's why she hired me, because she knew I would text her at 8:30 if she wasn't here and be like, where the heck are you?
Yeah.
When are you coming to work? And I do
She
it
holds me accountable
every day. Where are you?
It's honestly, I said before, I used to just, when it was just me, I would wake up when I wanted, I would diddle dally throughout the day, and I would just get as much done as I thought I could. But it's that saying, you think you're working hard. Wait, what is the saying? You think you're working hard, but you're not working as hard as you think.
Yeah.
And until I had parameters set where we work 8 to 4, I wasn't working hard. It forces you to be efficient.
Lisa has a good shout out looking at style, feel, size, material tags. I do look at I guess the view of things. Is it linen? Is it cashmere? Is it furry? Things like that. You're kind of looking at what it's made of. Material tags, another huge go-to. We could go to the bins. A lot of times I'll look and say, okay, this is cashmere, or this is silk, or this is rayon, or modal, or this is tinsel. So you look at all of those different fabrics, and sometimes you might find something that you didn't know about brand-wise just because of the material. The other thing is regular tags. If you're seeing like tacked on tags with just like thin single stitches on the corners, those are another good thing to look at, because they're trying to kind of protect the garment by barely stitching. But yeah, Lisa has a good shout out on that. They want you to do a video on how you switch to reselling. So fun fact, another thing to motivate Cayley to do. They would not have guessed that I was in HR.
I got some stories. That video might have to be like adult content or something.
I don't know. Oh, she worked HR too. That's so funny. I think that it just like burns you out eventually. Like, I don't know.
She said I got that vibe.
I love HR, which I do HR here. I handle all the like hiring and the training processes and stuff here, and I can't wait to eventually grow more and be back into it a little bit more. But let me tell you, I have got the worst potty mouth, and it has gotten worse and worse and worse without having to worry about it. And then I get on YouTube, and Cayley's like, "Okay, you have to behave." So I'm getting there. I'm still a work in progress, guys.
We need like an after dark live or something like that.
I told
Once a month
Cayley
or something.
my TikTok is like Nikki Unleashed, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to censor much as far as what I say on there. I haven't been as dedicated as what I need to be, and unfortunately that's the disadvantage. When we get behind on everyday business, TikTok is the one thing that I do kind of scale back on. But if you guys want some like raw, uncut, just random things that Cayley and I find ourselves getting into, that's where you're probably gonna find it. So Joe was in a law office. That's probably the same kind of thing, same kind of process.
Hey, me too.
Kayla says me too. She's willing to share that with you guys. So coming in late, dad of 3, school kids, eBay reseller, new to Poshmark. How important is it to follow and get followers opposed to just sharing my listings 2 to 3 times a day? I'm assuming that's for Poshmark.
Yes.
When you say sharing. So you have comments on that?
Well, first of all, thanks for joining us, even though you're coming in late. We're happy to have you here. Dad of 3 kids, that's a lot. So you're definitely, I would say, doing this part-time maybe. You're new to Poshmark. Poshmark, let me just tell it to you straight. Spending your time on follows, community follows, following people trying to get follows is a waste of time. Sharing is not a waste of time when you're sharing your own listings. Don't focus on community sharing, focus on sharing your own listings. It's the only thing that really benefits you. Followers will come naturally. I have never gone out and tried to get followers on Poshmark. You automatically get them as you list items. I'm not going to go into why that happens, but just know that you will automatically gain followers as you list items. I think I have like 50,000 followers on Poshmark, and I did nothing. Yes, I'm on social media, but that all mostly came from just organic search results. So what I would say is zilch everything but the sharing and sending offers. Do what benefits your own store on Poshmark. There's a lot of features on Poshmark. They try to promote the social aspect, doing things for other people, yada, yada, yada. If you want to make money and you don't care about the feel-good stuff, just share your own items multiple times a day. Spend your time doing that. Send out offers and work on listing more versus spending that time doing all the other stuff.
We have a lot of people talking about wishing that they had started reselling sooner. You know, I don't think enough people know about reselling, and I think a lot of people had to kind of learn it when COVID hit because they had to kind of figure out what to do. And so I think that there's a lot more people reselling now than they were, but there's also a lot of people who have kind of started reselling that I don't think put enough research into it. So we're going to see kind of, I think, a changeover of people who tried it with COVID, maybe weren't so successful because they didn't put as much time or effort or research into it. And hopefully that means that all of us that get on these bright and early 9 a.m. YouTube lives will find more stuff as they leave. I find the same things when starting in LP versus eBay. But when I start in eBay and cross post to LP, I find that the description text has lots of spaces on LP. Do you find that as well? We have not seen that yet. But again, we created a template. So I'm not sure if you have a template and you're cross posting, or if you are just generically putting it in cross posting, because I haven't tried it like that as far as a new listing yet. But I would look at a template first. And then I would also look at
I would check I think same thing as LP to eBay, but when I start eBay and cross to LP, I would check when you're, sorry, there's a lot of platforms. I was trying to make sure I understood. When you're listing on eBay and you're cross posting to list perfectly, when you're listing on eBay first, in that listing on your description, I would double check that you don't have a setting change, because I know on the eBay description part of an eBay listing, there's a space for bullets, there's a space for your font size there, and I think that there's a option for spacing. Yeah, I would check that and make sure that that's not off. But no, we've not experienced anything being weird like that.
The other thing you might try is we copied and pasted a template from LP into eBay. That might be part of it too, because LP already recognized the rough like estimate of that template. That could have something to do with it as well. So maybe get it set up the way that you want it to look in LP, and then copy and paste that into a template in eBay and give that a shot too. That's just a suggestion. Heather wants to know about a death pile. If you can see the death pile that's over here right now, we do currently have one. Typically, we don't have much because we have Kayla here in the office every day. But before we had Kayla, we did have a death pile. We would typically have a tote, 2-3 totes of things that we needed to work on each week. Oh my God, we got another super chat.
Wow, that's a big one. Thank you so much.
I can't sob on YouTube. It's just not acceptable.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Who was it? It was Blue Lilies. Is that what I saw?
Yep, Blue Lilies.
Blue Lily.
Thank you, Blue Lilies.
Thank you so much.
Oh God, that got my heart choked up.
Death pile, and even when we had those couple totes, I wouldn't consider that a death pile because we still planned on listing it the following week.
Yes.
We actually tend to have the opposite problem, which is we don't have enough to list. So everything that we bring in one week gets listed by the end of the next week. So we pretty much never have a death pile. And I would like to have more inventory on hand, but I never recommend having a death pile, because if I think of a death pile like you're letting stuff sit there for months, what if that's, it goes out of season, the styles don't, are out, the comps don't look the same. We never want to have a death pile.
What I would tell you is, if you have a death pile, spend a couple of days, knock that death pile out. And then if you want to be consistent, plan on sourcing like Monday through Thursday or whatever your schedule looks like, however many days, source the majority of the week or whatever you need to do, but make sure that you always leave an office day where you can spend time clearing all of that out. Even if that's just drafting it and getting it ready and getting photos and stuff done, you're not actively listing it yet. Be sure that you clear that death pile like every week so that you're not leaving those things too long. Because again, we talk about comping in 90 days. If that stuff's sitting there for 90 days and it's a legit death pile, it might not even be good after that. Cayley kind of mentioned that. So
and you're gonna feel, to the person that said that, because they said they seem to always have one, you're gonna feel so much better.
Yes.
If you get that up, you're gonna feel so much better. It's gonna reset your workspace. It's gonna reset your mind. It's gonna give you a new energy for listing new items. So I would really work on that, guys. Real quick, thank you guys for all of the likes too. We've got holy cow, we've got 86 people watching. I think that's the most we've had so far.
Give us thumbs up.
And 48 likes. So thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, take literally a second and give us a like. It helps the channel. We are at 48 minutes. We plan on only being here for 30 minutes. I'm gonna give us to an hour, so you've got about 11 minutes to send us questions.
At 9:55, I'm stopping questions from coming in. So just because we do have quite a few to go through.
Yeah, let's rapid fire. Let's do it.
Rapid fire. First of all, hello from Thailand. Thanks for getting on. I saw that and I was like, oh, Cayley. We're doing inventory too to make sure I have all the items that I listed. Yes. Good. So I think Cayley has a video up about how to do, I'm assuming you're on eBay. If you're not, correct me, but eBay does have a way that you could do like an inventory sheet. So
Poshmark does too.
Poshmark does too. So there should be a video on that too if you want to check it out. Might help. But yes, I would say doing inventory at least once a year, if not a couple times a year in chunks. That would be great.
With as many items as we have right now, I'm almost thinking we're going to have to do it quarterly. But it'll be easier you know, the more we go through it.
I binge watch your videos. My husband is so over reseller content. My husband will literally be laying in bed and like he's probably gonna watch this video and be like, "What is going on?" But when I started this, he would know about what happened in my day before I even made it home sometimes. Like before I even told him. She'd post a video and he'd be like, "Oh, I watched your video at work today. Oh my God, that was a great Patagonia." And I'm like, "What?" And then like some nights I'd be laying in bed and I would hear Cayley's voice and I'm like, "What is going on?" And I realized he was laying in bed watching Cayley's YouTube channel. And I was like, this is great, but like also what's going on? Now we haven't had much time. He hasn't been watching them lately, so it's been kind of funny. But the other day he was like, "You're such a nerd," and I was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Are you seriously showing people nerds on your day in the life video?" And I was like, "Oh, I forgot I even did that."
They're so good.
So, you know, talking about your husband watching reseller content, make him watch it. You know, if you are gonna resell, he can support you. My husband comes sourcing with me when Cayley can't be here. And he like thrives in it. The bins is his favorite place. So involve them. Maybe they'll help you. I don't have a set schedule yet, but I've been doing this for a long time and it all gets done every day. If that works for you, by all means, go for it. My husband eavesdrives on my YouTube watching, and he often asks me how certain YouTubers are doing. I have to help him catch up on who's who.
That's great.
What do our husbands think of reselling? I told you briefly, mine like loves it. I don't know, he tells me it's like a scavenger hunt and he likes going to the bins and finding things and kind of seeing what we can get into. And I think if he had more time, he would probably come reselling with me more often. He does work short shifts on Thursday and he's like, "I get off at noon, can I come sourcing with you sometimes?" But like I don't want to wait till noon to go, so I haven't brought him in a while, but he loves it. So
Blue Lily is the one that gave us the super chat.
She's in HR too.
She said he or she, I guess I don't know, said that they're in HR too and they understand perfectly.
Yeah.
Love watching you guys. Thank you for sharing your experience and knowledge. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody for all your kind words. It really helps just get our week started almost.
Yeah.
And
makes me feel good about what we're doing and that we're inspiring you guys to do
makes
good.
us want to do more lives.
Very helpful with sell-through rate. Thank you. My eBay sales have doubled since I binge watched your videos. As long as I'm here, we will always have content, whether it's TikTok or YouTube. We'll make it happen.
I've been slacking on YouTube, guys. I have got to get the point. My goal is to transition once we get everything set up to taking one weekday just for social media, because it does take a lot of time to make, edit, film, even just answering your comments and stuff. A lot of that back end stuff, it takes a lot of time, but I'm working on it. Posher VA
is a life changer, so I'm glad, Joe, that you're giving it a shot. It did make a huge difference for us. I do get the like apprehensiveness. I think everything we try, we kind of watch to see what happens, but for us, it's a thumbs up still.
Yeah, and if you guys are listening to this and you're like, what is List Perfectly or what is Posher VA? Do have videos on both. There's links down in the description if you're watching this later with coupon codes if you want to try them out, both of which have like trial periods. If you don't like it, you can get your money back. Or Posher VA, for instance, is free. You don't even have to give them a credit card for the trial period. But if you're on Poshmark, Posher VA is a must. It is life-changing.
It would be very hard working full-time and trying to be consistent. The one thing that I'll tell you is chunk your time. So like with eBay especially, or Poshmark, however you guys do it, you guys can schedule listings. So even if you only have an hour or 3 hours or 5 hours and you can set a chunk of time down, spend that time moving as far out as what you can. Talking about consistency, when we first started, we scheduled everything for the most part other than one day. Once we're done with this live today, we're going to go schedule all of our listings through next Thursday. And doing that helps with consistency. I'm sure we probably could come in every single day and do 20 listings a day, but it would kind of delay our time and leaving for sourcing. But by spending one day and consistently sitting down and being straightforward on that, it kind of helps us look more consistent even when we're not.
Whatever works for you. The reason we have to do it that way, where we chunk and we schedule everything the same day for the following week, it's because we have to drive so far for sourcing that spending so much time every day listing does not, like, it's not beneficial for us efficiency wise. So we decide to list everything in one day and then source the rest. Eric, if you haven't already, I would highly suggest watching our bin system, how we consistently list video, because it talks about how to get a week ahead and how to kind of have a bucket system to make sure that you're listing something every day using a scheduling system. Or if you don't want to schedule, it also talks about how you can do it every day. But that was game changer for us, and I know a lot of people were very thankful for that video, and it's helping them to consistently list. So if you haven't already seen that, I think it's titled Our Bin System, How We Consistently List. Look that up. It's really good.
We do not use a cross-listing tool or a cross-lister robot, however you want to say it. We actually pay our drafter to cross-post. So it used to be that we would cross-post she would fill out the draft on List Perfectly. We would verify, price it, and set it active. And then we would cross-post it to eBay. And then she would go back and cross-post it to Poshmark. Now she'll be doing the draft at eBay. We'll check in price and we'll cross post it to List Perfectly, and then she'll cross post it to Poshmark. But
we use a cross listing tool,
yes,
List Perfectly, but we're still having to do the action of cross posting.
And
we're cutting off the last question at the end of this.
Yep. Going from a bartender to reselling has been interesting. My social life has taken a major a major component of my job, and now I work in my PJs.
It would be a hard transition.
Yeah, when I have office days, I typically wear leggings, and like you can ask Cayley. My rule is I don't know. Growing up, I was never allowed to wear leggings in public because it wasn't presentable, and I wear leggings. Kayla's looking at me like, what? I wear leggings when I go to the office on office days now, and it's like the best moment of my life.
It is hard to, like, I think Nikki could speak to this, but transitioning from a corporate job to reselling or owning your own business, I mean, there are a lot of benefits, but there are downsides of it too. For instance, she was used to talking to people every single day. She's a pretty social person, as you guys can probably tell. And when she transitioned here, you know, she's only seeing me, some of our, you know, our helpers and or people at the thrift store if we go sourcing, where she is probably used to seeing hundreds of people every single day. So it's been a transition. And
I went from seeing or like co-managing almost 300 associates to just me, Cayley, Michaela, and our other side helper. And I would share her name, but I don't know if she wants us to, so I'm just gonna keep calling her a helper. So there's just us. And that was definitely a change. You can ask Cayley, like, I still go in the thrift store and like make friends with everybody. Everywhere we go, they're like, hey girl, what you doing? And like, I like to have fun and talk to them and like get to know them a little bit. Even customers, I have random people come up to me and either think I work there or they're like, hey, do you think this outfit looks great for this weekend? And I'm like, my life, if being a hype girl was a job, that would be my job, because I just love making people feel good.
Hi, Monica.
You gotta say hi from Louisiana. Welcome to the reselling community. Hopefully you can help. Oh, I keep jumping.
Yeah, sorry guys. There's a lot of questions. We're trying to rapid fire. We're gonna really quick rapid fire.
Yes. Okay, Mike. Delisting items on Posh that you've already sent offers on. There's a cheat. If you go in and change the size, so edit and change the size from whatever it is, list it again, and then go back and edit, you can delete it. You work at an office Monday through Friday. Love your guys' content. You guys have really good knowledge.
My husband likes looking for athletic brand logos. He calls them hieroglyphics.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Well, Joe, thank you for attempting to send us a super chat. We appreciate that. It's very kind of you. We are in Ohio. I will tell you that we are at least in the bottom half of the state. That's as close as I'm gonna let you get. But bottom half of the state, we do travel though, so maybe you'll run into us one day.
Yay! Bugsy was answering Mike, so that was awesome. Thank you guys for helping each other in the chat.
Good morning from New Jersey. I love your channel. It was great to listen to.
What's the difference between Posture VA and One Shop? I am not familiar with One Shop, so I can't speak to that. I've only used Posture VA. I do know of another one only because they've reached out to me for making a video several times about them. So I know of another popular one, but it's not called One Shop, so I can't speak to that because I'm not familiar with it, but I can tell you that Posture VA is awesome.
Does Posture VA work in Canada? I'm going out of order for a second, but we're talking about Posture VA. Do you know?
Last time I checked, no. I reached out for a couple people actually, where I reached out to Posture VA directly, and they told me that that was like they were trying to get there, but that they weren't there yet. As far as I know, I don't think so.
We do not on Poshmark mark our items as not for sale. We just delete them. Somebody suggested, it was Bugsy, said sometimes they tell them to leave it up. With us using LP, even if for some reason, we only take stuff off Poshmark once it's 100% sold and paid. We don't wait for it shipping. We don't wait for returns or anything like that, because what if it's sold again on Poshmark? We just take it down. But if for in some instance, it got returned and it came back and we wanted to list it back on Poshmark, with us having list perfectly, we would just cross post it again. So it's not really much time for us to do so. So we do just delete them. Scheduling is life changing. Check out that bins video. It really will make a big difference. I had to cancel a couple Posh orders recently, and I know it's not a good look. Yeah, I won't touch too much on that, but that does happen to us occasionally, where something will sell on eBay and sell on Poshmark like the exact same time, and we typically will always cancel Poshmark first, just because eBay is so restricted on canceling items and what that looks like, and if it's the exact same time, somebody has to take one for the team. Unfortunately, it's our Poshers.
Yeah, I love seeing Mike and Bugsy are helping each other in the chat, so thank you guys so much for helping each other out. Do we have any more?
Seems to be the most forgiving regarding, yes, Poshmark is the most forgiving regarding canceling.
For now.
Near Toledo, but currently live in Chicago. From Defiance or near Toledo, but currently live in Chicago. Yay, Ohio. I have some family in Toledo, so it was a big change that I love now. I can delete and not worry about deactivating or marking not for sale. True. So that is officially all of our questions. If for some reason we missed you guys or missed a question, we will be back on hopefully on Monday to come see you guys again. So feel free to come back and join us on Monday. Hopefully on Monday we'll get to the point about talking about online sourcing. I did kind of dabble in that this week, and we will plan on talking about that briefly on Monday before we start answering questions. Again, thank you guys for all the super chats. Yes. I can't tell you how much that makes me want to cry, especially after the week I've had. So, and all the kind words, not just the super chats, but it's really nice to hear that we're making a difference with you guys. So
yeah. Thank you guys so much. We are going to hop off because we have to list a crap ton of items. So
yes,
we're also very excited. I almost feel like I'm not looking forward to listing them because we're starting a new process, but we kind of have a lag. So we have like 2 weeks to get through of cross posting from List Perfectly to eBay before we switch to eBay to List Perfectly, which we know is going to save us time. So we're going to go bang them out, and hopefully over the next couple of weeks we'll be able to tell you that we cut our time in half with scheduling.
Yeah, we'll give you an update. Probably it'll probably not be this next week, but the following week, because we are a couple batches ahead. But when we finally run this next batch with the new process, I'll let you know how much time we actually saved on it, so you guys can consider that as well. So all right, we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to give us thumbs up. Have a great weekend.